Folks, Fishing Buddy 254 right here. My part one was destroyed. It didn't upload to YouTube appropriately, so I had to delete it. I want to talk with you about the proper methods of working into the urine therapy thing. The urine therapy. I want to talk to you about the proper methods for doing so. Now, first of all, if you've never drank your urine and someone tells you this, you're going to be absolutely repulsed. You're not going to want anything to do with it. You're going to reject it. You might even reject that person. More or less, most people is what I'm saying. Most people, that is. Maybe 1 out of 500 will try this therapy. Now, this is what I feel like if you're really interested in doing this life-changing, beneficial therapy of drinking your own urine. This is mine this morning. It's usually not as clear earlier in the morning as what it gets later in the day if I add a lot of distilled water to it. Some Bragg apple cider vinegar and some fulvic acid, which I like Liquid Light from Sun Warrior. Research that product. Do the Liquid Light review on YouTube. Well, I think that if you've never done this therapy, it's very important for you to get a grasp of fasting on just distilled water, even without putting the apple cider vinegar in the water. Just starting with like a 1-day fast and just working up to like a 3-day fast and just taking baby steps. Just crawl, walk, run phases. Just to work yourself into this lifestyle of converting over to a urine fasting lifestyle. Now, if you've never drank your urine, the first time I drank mine, I thought I was going to gag. It was absolutely terrible. But it was more like the thought of it being urine and not something else that I found it to be so very repulsive. Now I can just whiff down a whole thing of it. I mean, no problem. It's no problem. After you've been doing it for about a year, you can move into the actual fermented urine, which is much more healthier and beneficial to the body with antibiotics, probiotics, stem cells, hormones, enzymes, trace minerals, B vitamins. I mean, this stuff is absolutely just loaded with health. I mean, it's just loaded with that. And you can see I kind of don't look like I'm nearly in the 50s range almost, or gearing that way, upper 40s. I really feel really good most of the time as long as I stick to my diet the way I should. And sometimes I kind of venture off my diet and get on the wrong diet. But for the most part, most of the time, I'm on a good, proper diet. And every now and then, I'll just go on a complete urine fast where I'll do nothing but consume my own urine for like 3 to 5 days. I've almost done like 5 total days. I haven't quite mastered anything over 5 days, but I've done a ton of intermittent fast, which is just not eating anything until the last part of the day and just cut down to a minimum about what I will consume during that 1 meal period. Time is a matrix. Life is a matrix. Everything is condensed light. So when you're consuming your own urine, you're channeling pure light. So when you're channeling this light, you're channeling energy is what you're doing. And in turn, this manifests into the physical reality, works on the physical level, on the physical plane. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not an MD, and I don't have a PhD, and I'm not a doctor. But I can tell you my experience from doing this urine therapy, and it's absolutely a life-changing, life-altering event just because of the energy level. It's just so high. I mean, your energy levels will just go like crack high. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and you can go from being the most depressed person, the most bogged down person, to the most highest state of consciousness that you could ever imagine. And it can go from being the most gag-full product, make you want to vomit, to just being just crystal clear like rainwater clear. Tastes like coconut water. You'll be like, you'll never believe it. You'll think, wow, I'm a walking coconut fountain. And this therapy is such a shame that over the last 100 years, stuff like this gets so demonized. But for thousands of years, this was mainstay medical. This was exactly mainstream medical. This was what everybody went to when they had an ailment. When they had a problem, they done a urine fast. But they took all that out of the text about 1919 when the Rothschilds and Rockefellers started controlling all the text and the universities and what you could and couldn't learn and what you couldn't teach. And now they've just got their little tentacles all in everything. But this is something that they can't take away from you. They can't go in your bathroom and stop you from drinking your own urine. They can't do it. I mean, they want to. They don't want you to know this knowledge. So the idea, what I'm saying is, start fasting in smaller levels, working up to the higher fast. Drink distilled water. Add a few drops of apple cider vinegar to it. If you don't like the taste of it, work yourself into it with a dripper. With a little dripper. Just take you a little dripper, like so. Make sure it's glass, and just take your little dripper, put some of the apple cider vinegar into the water, distilled water, and start to work into a detoxification phase. Once you get to the point to where your urine is crystal clear, and you should be drinking about 2 gallons of distilled water a day if you've never done this before. This is to purge your system. Once you get your system good and clean, then what you can do is you can work into looping your own waters and move into a urine fasting lifestyle. This is very, very healthy, top-notch healthy. This is one of the things that will pretty much determine. This is one of the things that will determine you living to be 100 or 125 and having a good, happy life, or you dying early and dying miserably. I mean, they're chemtrailing us. They're putting fluoride in the water. They're forcing GMOs and mandatory vaccines, and they do not want you knowing how to clean this garbage out of the body. They do not. This interferes with their control measures that's been placed in there because they operate the pharmaceutical and own the pharmaceutical industries. If you drink your own urine, you're never going to get sick. So if you never get sick, they're never going to make any money. So they don't want you knowing this stuff. I'm telling you right now, they don't want you knowing this stuff. So when you look at it on these perspectives and accept this to be fact, I mean, after all, these people drink their urine, but they don't want you drinking yours. These people buy gold by the billions of dollars, but they don't want you buying gold and silver. These people do something, you should always look to the opposite of what they tell you. If they tell you something, you better look at the opposite result. You best always think that way. If you don't, you're messing up. And for the most part, I'm right. And I don't even trust anything that they put out anymore. I mean, they put out this garbage about early death comes from drinking distilled water, and it leaches the inorganic minerals out of the body, not the organic minerals. They don't bother to disseminate between the two. So it's nothing but an 80-20 bait game. 80% truth, the vital 20% leads you off course down the path to deception. It's time for you to take charge of your health. If you don't take charge of your health, nobody's going to take charge of your health for you. So just consider this as an introduction to working into a urine fasting lifestyle. You have to have a clean product for it to be palatable, drinkable. And you're not going to have a good product if you're eating crap, if you're eating GMOs, if you're drinking soda, smoking cigarettes, dipping tobacco. You're not going to have a good product. Drinking all that alcohol, eating all that cooked food all the time, all that cooked garbage food. Okay. I'm glad you watched. Keep tuning in. We're going to make some future videos on different holistic and homeopathic therapies. And we're going to go into a series on bathing with 1-year-old urine. Okay, thanks, folks.